Proctor will be remembered as an outstanding and accomplished actor and a civil, civic, and corporate leader. When aspiring actors and young activists search for guidance in their pursuits, Eugene Proctor's life will be the example which will point them in the right direction. As social problems threaten to destroy lives and families, Eugene Proctor undertook causes to avert the crisis and counseled groups and individuals on how they could take personal responsibility to correct their lives. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to offer condolence to the family and friends of Eugene Proctor. More importantly, it is to recognize as a page in history the great work, contributions, and life of Eugene Proctor. May his family and friends know of our deepest sympathy. Representative Reverend Robert Dean, 75th District for the state of Michigan. Thank you very much.
Gene Proctor Jr. would like to share a few thoughts with you. Gene?
First of all, our family, my mother and our family really want to thank everyone so much for your support of our family today. And I got the call that our dad passed Friday. Sister Rich or Elizabeth called me Friday, and I flew from Vegas, which is home for me. And actually, I was in Phoenix visiting my son. I live in Vegas, and so I flew from Phoenix. When I arrived here Saturday afternoon, I was really amazed at the constant flow of people that came through our home with cards, flowers, and food, and condolences, and it was a non-stop flow. Saturday, and I'm sure Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then seeing my dad honored in the press and seeing the honor and the respect that he's gathered from this community. I left Grand Rapids in 1980, lived in Phoenix, having been stationed in the Air Force out there, and I lived in Vegas for 13 years now, and you know, I really, the one thing that this whole event is creating with me is such a love and appreciation for family. And now even seeing Grand Rapids is my extended family and the love that you're showing our family. And you know, I really want to thank God for my brother Vernon, who took the time, I don't know if it was 10 years ago or however long it was, but Vernon recorded our dad. He did an interview with him. And there's so many things that we're learning about him now that we never knew. As children, we lived in the same house and he did, and some of you may have known him a little better than we did. And you know, it was, you know, there were some communication issues, and sometimes we had issues with the attention that you got opposed to the attention that we got. And so, you know, I had issues with that. So I found a way to get his attention on a regular basis, I might add. And Carlos, you didn't help with that. and so, you know, I must admit, it was somewhat of a strained relationship, but the older I got, the more respect I had for my father and how he has and became and was a man of dignity and honor and respect. And how that even a senator gets up and begins to talk about how he influenced his life even. And I think about all the times that he instilled so much in us, and I look at how selfish I was and how angry I was about the attention, but there was so much that he was instilling in us. How important it is to keep your word. Work ethic. I mean, my siblings and I are working since we were 4 or 5 years old. I know my daddy was violating some child labor laws. We were like Jamaicans. Believe me. But it's okay, because now we know how to keep our word, and we understand what it means to have honor and dignity and carry ourselves in a manner. And I was just telling my nephew Jamal this morning how I thank God that we got a young man. He's 24 years old. Jamal, stand up. Where you at? He's 24. Oh, he's going to sing in a minute. But an astounding young man, graduate from Duke, and doing great things with his life. And I said, I'm glad that we have a young leader in our family, but I'm sure that my dad had much impact on him as well as many of us. And I'm excited that Gene Parker Sr. has made such a contribution to Grand Rapids and so many of our lives. There's so many of us that will never be the same again from his influence. And his life will live on forever in and through us. And through in this video that Vernon recorded, he asked my dad a question, and I can't exactly remember how Vernon worded the question, but my dad's response was, you know what? I just learned not to ask why. He said, I learned not to ask why. And do you know that almost knocked me off my chair? Because I done spent almost 45 years of my life asking why. And I realized how it gets you stuck on a treadmill. Why slavery? Why racism? Why oppression? Why so many things? Why haven't I gotten further? Why? And I even ask why about him a lot of times. But you know what? His response when Vernon asked him that question is, I learned not to ask why, but how. My question was how. And that's why so many of you are sitting out there today. Because he said somewhere between the ages of 45 and 50, he decided, you know what, my goal is not to be rich, but my goal is to make a difference in other people's lives. And from that day forward, he found a way how to make a difference and impact in the life of everyone who came into contact with him. And you know what? That's what I thank God for now, because at 45, I can live the rest of my life asking the right question. And if we don't do anything else today, that's how we need to go on living our lives. It's not why, but how. How can I make a difference? How can I help this brother up? How can I help this person out? How can I help our young people have a better example? And so I just really thank you all, my mother and our family. We thank you all so much for coming out and honoring our father. You know what? But you know what? He may be laying in that casket, but he lives on, and especially if we continue asking ourselves how. And thank you.
That was a nice speech, Mr. Parker.
I don't know how I came up with all that.